Are we starting to see the price for Solana break on down? Can we potentially still push up to that $98 level? We're going to look at everything in today's video. So today guys, let's take a look at all things Solana. We're going to have a look at the timeframes, the 1 hour, the daily and the weekly, look at the price action, where it's likely to go next, all the usual good stuff. You should know that by now. Let's not waste any of your time. Let's take a look at the chart, starting out with the 1 hour time frame. Solana paired up with USDT, 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 is the data source for the 1 hour. So obviously we were looking at that push to the upside in this yellow C wave. We were targeting out 64.7 cent, the higher area here. Of course, we can see the price pushing up to 65.53 here most recently for the price for Sol. So from here, obviously we have seen that breakdown today, quite a pullback in the markets. It's yeah, it's fantastic to see. It's not an unexpected pull down. A few things we have to kind of look out, keep an eye on here. We have now crossed lower than the 50 EMA, the 50 SMA, and we breached lower than that 200 EMA here on the hourly timeframes. Now, I'm not overly concerned by this just now. We do still see the 50 EMA in red, the 50 SMA in green, trading higher than the 200 EMA, and we also see that 1 hour and 4 hour stochastic resetting. Fantastic. We have came down to test out equilibrium, which is great to see. You know, it's really good to see this price resetting on down here. I do still personally think we have the progression to the upside across many projects in the space. Yeah, overall, not unexpected these moves. How they happen, we do not know, but overall, these are the moves that we are anticipating to play out here. So on this move to the downside, we do obviously have an impulsive move coming on down here. We see the price coming back up to 65.249. So we're of course looking at this as a potential A, B and C structure. However, breaking lower than 60.023 gives us the idea here that we are in fact looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 potential move playing out here for Solana. What I would like to do is drop this down onto that 5-minute time frame and really take a look as to, you know, what's potentially going on here. Do we still have more to go to the downside, or is this move within itself done? Well, we could obviously start to break this structure on down here, micro-analyse the moves that are playing out. We do have a potential wave 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 playing out right on in here. And then we have another structure to the upside, which of course would be our A, B and C structure, something along the lines of this move going on right in here. And then from here, we will of course have that wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, 4 and 5 potentially inside of here. Now that would only give us the wave 3 to the downside, which, yeah, doesn't really play into the narrative as to where I would like to see this one going. This move to the upside would be a wave 4, breaking on down in another 5th wave. This move within itself, guys, would take us down towards 59.012, down to around about 58.045, which still plays out to the structures we have been looking at. I'm just not overly convinced about this candle we did see playing out, and for this one we're going to have to go down to that 1 minute candle, the 1 minute chart, and unfortunately this candle is solid. So as far as the eye can see, we only have a potential wave 3 playing out here. I do not like the way this one is structured, but the fact that when we go down to as low as the 1 minute time frame, this just plays out a single candle telling us that that's just a wave 3 in itself, which is very bizarre. It tells us overall, guys, that we are still to expect more to the downside if this is the move that is playing out within itself. When we do come back up to this 1 hour time frame, we can of course see that wave 1, wave 2, all of this here being a wave 3 still to play out. Still to expect that wave 4, still to expect that wave 5 to the downside. Let's just change the colour of this to yellow so we can individualise what it is we're looking at here. So we would obviously have to see this price come down, bare minimum, testing out 59.617 here to give us that wave 3 finishing move, from which we would expect a wave 4 and then another wave 5 to the downside. But of course we have once again 5 waves in isolation. From here we would have to expect a bigger move to the upside as a 3-wave structure, followed on by another 5-wave move to the downside. When we do zoom out on this one, guys, we can then see we have a bigger A, B and C corrective structure overall here for Solana. So yes, there is the distinct possibility here that we are starting to see these prices correct on to the downside. It's very early to be predicting these kind of moves. Due to the fact that we have not lost some certain levels on the charts here, in particular the low we did see around about 59.6 cent. We'll bring that back up onto the charts actually. The lows we have seen previously around about the 59 cent level. The low be seen at 58 cent. We're looking to see these levels tested first. These are going to act as good areas of support, and lo and behold, these are down at equilibrium. When we do zoom into the chart, obviously we can see that this candle wick right on here appears to have actually came down to 59.617. So we have essentially bounced from here, finding it as support, which of course is very interesting. Should we continue to find that support, then in fact this move to the downside would be complete. We would not look at this as a 5-wave structure. We would have to look at this as an overextended W, X and Y structure. So we have some key levels playing out here. I do think we have more to the downside before we do see a continuation to the upside, but that is where I lie just now with Solana. I do think we still have some further to go to the downside. Yes, the 1 hour and the 4 hour are both oversold, looking for further moves to the downside. I just think we need to give this a little bit of time. Let's see this one play out. I'm going to bring onto the charts here the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗠𝗠𝗘𝗥𝗦. What we can see playing out here is not the best of signs. On this hourly chart, we can see that we have a very negative VWAP sitting on the charts. Money flow starting to also flip bearish. We are seeing money flow negative just now, telling us that we are looking for a continuation to the downside. Of course, if you have access to the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗠𝗪𝗔, we did get that signal right up here to go short, which would have been an absolutely fantastic position. Let's just take a look at this one before we do advance any further. You would have probably gone short here on that sell signal. If you had managed to trade out this entire move, well, you would have been looking at around about a 7.73% drop to the downside. Your stop loss would have been around about the previous high, a 1.43% stop loss. 5.41 risk reward ratio. So once again showing the benefits of that cheeky trading cipher coming to fruition once again. Personally, if I was in that trade, I would not be coming out of it just yet. There is nothing concrete telling us that that move to the downside is over with. Drop it down to the 30-minute if the 30-minute would like to load up. But once again, we can see on these lower time frames that the money flow is indeed still negative, still telling us, the moves are to the downside on the lower time frames. We might even go down as low as this 15-minute chart. Yeah, still negative VWAP, negative money flow, still telling us the moves are to the downside here. So overall, guys, I do still expect to see the price action for Solana, continue these moves to the downside. We will obviously look for that correction to the upside before we then see another move to the downside. These moves are going to stack up, it feels like, for the rest of this week. But it's fantastic to see a little bit of red in the market. It's been green for such a long time now. So let's see how long this one continues for. Now, let's take a look at that daily chart. So the daily chart is actually playing out quite well here, as we can see. We have not yet breached that previous high of 68.2 on the Binance daily chart, and of course we have not yet breached that low of 51.23. A move in either direction confirms the direction of the move that we are playing in. To me, it looks like we are in this A, B and C corrective move, where obviously we are looking at there this potential 5-wave structure to the downside, which actually plays out very well with this A, B and C structure. So all is looking okay here so far. The move down here, we will actually just quickly scope this one out. If we bring this over to the previous high of 65.53, is that the correct one? Yes, 65.53. We'll bring this down. We will be looking to come down. Well, we've actually got a really good target area here, guys. 49.22 to as low as 46.01. This move in itself is actually quite interesting. As we can see, we have the 50 EMA and the 50 SMA both coming up into this C-wave target area. A double bottom may be the next move here, but overall we will be targeting out 49.24 to 46.05. This will be the target area here for the daily. I do feel we can see the stochastic has still got plenty of momentum to the downside. So all in all here, we are looking okay as this move is likely to continue on down. Now, there's one other thing I would like to bring up here. We're talking about the volatility. We can see high areas of volatility for the price action of Solana. Let's just take a look at this one here to start with. We have our low of the range. We have our high of the range. I would like to see a break off here. We have came up kind of trying to test the upper area, but I do think we have to come down here to test out that area of volatility, 100% volatility here. Once again, I do think we have to see this C wave come on down to here. So yet again, another confirmation, or sorry, another indication that we have further progression to the downside, looking around about the $49 level here on the daily chart for Solana. And then lastly for today, guys, we will of course take a look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart once again is the Binance chart. Nothing extraordinary is happening. We can see the big green candle we have seen today. It's not really affected the charts all that much, trading at $60.88. Everything's still okay here. Of course, we have come up into this previous fair value gap, this one coming back from May 2022. So we've came up, tested around about that 618 fib level of that fair value gap. Let's just do a quick check on this one. I think that's where we've kind of hit here. Yeah, bounced on that 618 fib. So we've found rejection, came back down. I do think, you know, we probability is to come down to test out the midline of this previous fair value gap, which ironically is 49.13. If we take this back to the daily chart, we're looking at 49.24 to 46. If we bring that back to that 1 hour chart, we can see we have still got some progression to the downside. But on this weekly chart, I do think we have that possibility to see the price, you know, come on down, test out the 49.13, the midline of that fair value gap, perhaps even fill it out before we would then look for another move to the upside, where I would expect this fair value gap here to be filled out. Now, of course, we have been talking for quite some time about these moves that are playing out on this road to the upside. What would this look like? Well, it's still that potential 5-wave move here on the daily time frame. This has not been invalidated yet. The validation would obviously come down here at 24.8 cent, giving us the idea that this move to the downside is simply a correction that we have been expecting for quite some time. The typical retracement area between $43 and $37 would be fantastic, because we would then have that potential move to the upside to come, where we would be targeting out a move to $78.4 to $98 still for Solana. Stop loss, of course, we would look for a good stop loss in this one, a previous wick low. We would obviously look into that once the price does come down here. You know, if we only see the price tap this higher level, then we're looking at our stop loss down at that previous wick low. So there's some plenty of opportunities on the charts here coming up for Solana. I do believe a potential risk reward ratio favourable over that 3-to-1. A 80% push to the upside. I do still think we have got another push to come to the upside this year, leading into next year for Bitcoin. If we see Bitcoin pump, if we see the prices start to drag up in the charts once again, well, I don't think there's any reason why we cannot see the altcoins start to move back up in the charts once again. But guys, that's my thoughts, my opinions on all things Solana. Let us know your thoughts and your opinions in the comments down below. I will leave that one there for today. If you've enjoyed the video, smash up the like button, subscribe, tap on the bell, selecting all of the notifications. If you are going to trade, please do trade safely. Have a nice tight stop loss. Make some great gains. Stay safe in the space. And until next time, have a very nice day.